In reply to your letter, Mrs. Johnson, may I say that we here in Dallas, the management of the Texas International Pop Festival, also share your concern over the lack of planning at the recent Woodstock Festival in New York. I would like to answer your question in the very short time that I am allotted, with some brief statements covering each of your points. Unlike the isolated, inaccessible site of the Woodstock Festival, which caused most of the major problems there, our festival will be held at a beautiful new area which is outstanding in its accessibility, its cleanliness, and in its facilities, such as an abundance of food, water, sanitary, electrical, and medical setups, thereby eliminating the health and welfare hazards of which you speak. We do not plan on confining the young people who attend our festival to the festival area itself, as was the Woodstock case. We have arranged with the Corps of Engineers to have available for our campers over 10,000 acres of fine campgrounds in the very nearby Lake Dallas area. Finally, as far as traffic and narcotics problems are concerned, we have spent a good deal of time in working with Chief Ralph Adams of the Louisville Police Department, with the Texas Highway Patrol, with the Department of Public Safety, and with the Denton County Sheriff's Office to ensure that both traffic hazards and drug abuse are dealt with both swiftly and forcefully. To quote Chief Adams, "There are security measures being taken adequate enough to handle any situation of any kind." In conclusion, Mrs. Johnson, we share your concern for our festival. However, we feel that we have made far better plans than Woodstock.
This is my 84th birthday.
Well, happy birthday to you. And Mrs. Brandon, it's been kind of special for you, too, hasn't it?
It certainly has, and I appreciate all my friends that have called and wrote us, you know.
What occasion has it been?
Oh, our 65th wedding anniversary.
65 years married.
That's right.
It seemed like 65 years.
Yes, sir. It seems like about 100.
You started out a long time ago, and I imagine that during the courting you got around to your first kiss. Can you tell us anything about that? Do you remember it?
Well, I didn't know hardly what to do with it after I got it. For I was kind of looking to have to dodge.
Did he get it on the first date?
No, sir. It was about 6 months before we married before we ever thought about kissing each other. That wasn't stylish them days, like it is today.
What took you so long, 6 months to plant the first one?
Well, I was kind of backward. Didn't just exactly know where I was at.
And if you had to give some advice after 65 years to today's young person, what would you say?
Well, I think I'd begin with the parents to teach the children right and wrong. You know, the Bible says raise a child up in the way it should go, and it'll not depart from it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not against these young people. I'm against the parents that don't take care of them and teach them right and wrong.
About all that remains of Hurricane Camille now is a few patches of clouds over Kentucky or Tennessee. But if ever the truth were spoken, here along the coast of Mississippi, the storm is gone, but it certainly is not forgotten. This is downtown Gulfport, Mississippi, where the storm blew in with all its fury. Since the advent of the mass communications media, those of you who are safe at home, away from the storm's path, have grown accustomed to the traditional manner of reporting a disaster like Camille. There are 3 or 4 days of carefully charting the progress of the storm, then the terror and the excitement of the moment when the killer winds slam ashore and begin the rain and the destruction. The death toll is recorded and the damage estimates become household knowledge across the land. But after a few days, most of our minds have drifted back to the routine of daily living. The reports then simply say that cleanup operations are underway. And to us at home, that, unhappily, is that. But in real life, it works a little differently. The so-called cleanup operation really amounts to beginning again, in the case of Camille, for 250,000 people.
We were staying in the house because we were kind of high, and we allowed for the 20-foot wave that they said they were giving us. But you can believe me, it was 30 or 40 if it was any, because in our backyard, when the house went down, it was over our heads.
You say when the house went down, what happened to your house?
Well, first we watched the front part go, and then we went upstairs, and the house just shook. And my husband said, well, I guess you know we're going to die. And I said, yeah, I know, but we're going to keep pushing anyway. And we come back down the stairs, and he got through a hole just about a foot wide, and he weighs 235 pounds, and I'll never know how he did it. And the dog was with us. We had our bird dog, Trudy, was with us. And we managed to get through that hole, and just as we got out the back, the whole thing fell in, and part of the beam cut. Dr. Raines gave him about an 8-inch gash across the back and about 3 inches deep, and his back is hurt.
Air Force reservists aren't the only people supplying material to the needy people in Mississippi and Louisiana. Just this morning, a Texas Air National Guard plane left Hensley Field loaded with food, clothes, and other material for the stricken people on the Gulf Coast. Another plane is due to leave tomorrow to make the round trip with more materials, and JCs who have collected much of the material being sent to Mississippi and Louisiana say they'll